So it's another cloudy, rainy day. It's supposed to rain for the next 3 days, I guess. And they've got flood warnings posted now on the weather apps that we have. Rained kind of like a day and a half ago. So I flushed out the well, I filled up the water IBC tank. So we should have enough water to get us through this rain event. This one's going to be the longest one so far. But man, you just can't get anything done around here. Just nothing. The grass is growing up. I cut it and it seemed like it just popped right back up. It's real thick. The next time I cut, it's going to be a slow go. You figure there's at least another week before I can cut the grass. So that, I mean, it's going to be real thick. I showed you, I think in yesterday's video, I don't know, the day before, yesterday or something like that, I tried to till the garden and it was pretty muddy after 2 days of dry time. Well, it's still saturated after this last rain here, and it's supposed to rain again tonight for the next 3 days. So I'm going to do my best to get this tilled up so Carolyn can plant a garden, but it may be that I just muddle through this the best I can and we just plant the seeds right into the mud. It may not be very pretty. Man, it has rained a lot this year. It's just non-stop rain. It's incredible. So I've been telling you that we've been incubating eggs. Again, in a video that I just recently made a day or two ago, I showed you the incubator again, went through all the details of it, tried to explain it a little better than I had the first time. One of the things that I had tried to figure out is, did we have enough electric? Well, I kind of resigned to the fact that I was going to have to run the generator at least 2 hours a day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. So I figured that cost up and it was going to be $16 to run the generator 2 hours a day for 21 days. That's how long the incubator would take. And I figured, you know what, that's not too bad considering if I wanted to go buy meat birds at the hatchery, that's going to be like $70, $50 to $70, somewhere around there. So I figured $16 to incubate these was much cheaper. On the other hand, I could have went and bought another battery. A lot of people suggested I should do that, but I don't know. I wanted to wait until the winter before I got another battery. Well, I was glad I did, because so far we've been incubating for 11 days, and out of those 11 days, 2 days were sunny. Every other day has been cloudy, which means I got to run the generator anyways. Actually, I got to run it longer than the hour in the morning and the hour in the evening. I got to run it about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, more like 3 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. So about 5 hours a day when it's cloudy. If I'd have bought the battery, it would have been a waste of money this early in the season. If I buy it towards winter when I'm really going to need it, the battery will be stronger. You know, obviously batteries go bad over time and they lose a little bit each day of life expectancy. If I could buy it closer to the winter, I'd have a nice full strong battery for the winter time. So I'm really glad I did, because I saved myself $100. Granted, I had to run the generator, but I would have had to have run it whether it had the incubator on or not. I guess it was the right decision not to buy the battery. But next year I should be in pretty good shape to incubate eggs, because we'll have that extra battery then. I probably won't have to run it at all, except on the cloudy days. But this has been pretty extreme with the clouds and the rain. It's been pretty tough this spring. It was really cold, so we've had to run the heat quite a bit. The temperature is too warm to run the wood stove, so we're running propane. I found that propane for $11 per tank, so that was pretty cheap. I can't beat that. I might run the propane heater 3 hours a day, not much. So one of the rain events, my food is in this trash can. There's a trash can underneath this tarp. So we got the chicken food in there. And somehow, we've done this for months now, but on that big last rain, the food got wet. So we're trying to figure out a way to use up the wet food, because it just dripped on one side. So we're trying to figure out how to use the wet food before it goes bad. It's gonna go bad. So I've lost some money there. So I put a tarp over it. As soon as we get this trash can emptied, we're gonna put it underneath the chicken run tarp here. That way it's out of the rain completely. I guess it was just a lesson learned. I made a mistake. It would have been better if I'd have thought about putting it in there before, but I didn't. We're gonna lose $26 out of that deal. It's not terrible. I mean, if you're going to lose money, I guess. Good morning, Frenchie. It's actually almost afternoon here. So if you're going to lose money, lose it once, figure out a solution so you don't do it again. And that was Rue. Rue is so much softer than Frenchie. Now, it has rained a ton in here, and I just can't keep the chicken run dry. It's just a mess in here. Absolute mess. Look at him. So yesterday I put down some straw. I could hardly walk through here. I was just sinking. So I put some straw down, and that kept it so I didn't sink down so much. But you can already see that they've got it all muddied up again. They scratch around in that because they like that straw seed. So Frenchie's running back and forth between his two sets of girls. He's got girls in here laying eggs, and he's got girls over there just staying out of the, I don't know why they all go underneath that Coroplast building, but they hang out there a lot. It's not muddy over here, I should say. Down here is the downhill side. That's where all the water accumulates, is over here. But it's not very muddy over here. Not near sinky, where you sink down. I wonder why they're all hanging out underneath us. But they do that all the time. They hang out in here. You know, maybe, I just had a thought. I like it when I talk on the camera because it gives me a thought. Maybe Frenchie doesn't bother him under here as much. I bet that's what it is. He can't mate them. So, see? Yep, that's what it is. He's chasing them up underneath there. I bet he doesn't mate them underneath there, so they all hang out here to get away from him. That could be it. I bet that's what it is. Maybe I just learned something. So I'm gonna take you down in the woods. Somebody asked me, do we morel hunt, mushroom hunt morels? And the answer is, well, kinda. I mean, we don't have a lot of property here. We only got 1.5 acres. So even if we did find morels, it would probably be just one. It's been so cold, it's highly unlikely that we'll find any. And if I recall, when I was a kid, I think morel hunting was better in mid-May, right around planting season. I think we're a little early yet. This is May 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, you'll see this video 2 days after I record it. But boy, everything sure is greened up. Look at that. And look at this creek. It's been 2 days since it's rained. This is a dry creek. It's just runoff. Man, it's flowing hard, considering it's a dry creek. But look at the leaves. They all gathered up here. Wow. That's something. A lot of rain. And now they're saying it's going to flood, so that'll be fun. Okay, so here's the May apples. And I suspect if we're going to find mushrooms, this is where we're going to find mushrooms, is here in the May apples. And I never see them. I don't have any ash trees on the property. Now, some people say it should be oak, and some people say it should be ash. Well, there is an oak tree right there. So all these right here are oak trees. But the May apples are on the north side of the oak. They're supposed to be on the south side. So if we're going to look for mushrooms, you want it on the sun side, the side where the sun is, which would be here on this side of the tree. And then, of course, I'm not seeing anything. I come out here regularly and look around. I mean, if I saw one, a mushroom, I would stay out here and look all over the place. But this is the only place I would suspect that we're actually going to find any mushrooms, is right here in this May apple bush. I mean, everybody seems to agree, or at least most everybody seems to agree, that this is where the mushrooms should be if we're going to have any. But it's on the wrong side of the tree. The other thing I have a concern about is we have 3 walnuts right in this area. That tree there is a walnut. That tree there, yeah, that tree there is a walnut. It's either that one or that one, I can't remember. But and then down there on the other side of the creek is a big walnut. I don't think that one would hurt it, but these other ones produce poisonous chemicals, And I would suspect that that poisonous chemical, I say poisonous, it's not really poisonous to humans, it's poisonous to other plant life. So if you're going to plant a garden next to a walnut tree, most of your plants wouldn't grow. So I suspect having so many walnut trees on this property is hampering the ability to get mushrooms. A walnut tree, you're not supposed to plant your garden around the girth of the leaves. If the leaves come out 20 feet, you could start planting, 25 feet on out. So keep that in mind. Walnut trees make great walnuts. And Carolyn, just the other day, she says, what's the one memory you have of this property? Well, my memory is I built that tiny house. I was very fond memory. As a matter of fact, I went back and watched many of the old videos that I made last year building the house. And I said, why, what's yours? And she said, cracking walnuts. So that was last September-ish that we got a bunch of walnuts. We'll crack walnuts again this year if we get plenty. My understanding is walnut trees produce every other year. So we had 3 walnut trees up there producing last year, but we didn't have any of them producing out here last year. Now the squirrels could have been getting them, maybe. I would suspect that they're going to drop off down here this year. That would be my guess, and those up there by the house won't drop off any. So we'll have to come around here. So I haven't been out in the woods since it's really springed up like this. We got the early bloom. I showed you the early bloom, but here we are, and you can't even hardly walk through the woods right now. It's pretty incredible. So if you'll click this up next box, I'd really appreciate it. Take you to my next video. So if I can inspire you to go mushroom hunting while you're living your dream. Thanks for watching.